Which of the following should you do after an accident? A. Protect the area, notify authorities, and care for the injured. B. Report the accident the following week. C. Go to the nearest convenience store and call your insurance company. A. Protect the area, notify authorities, and care for the injured. If you are involved in an accident, you must stop your vehicle and move it from the roadway to the shoulder, provide aid to anyone who has been injured, protect the accident scene as much as possible, notify law enforcement as soon as possible, exchange information with other drivers involved, and submit any required forms to the DMV and your insurance company. You may pass another vehicle if the line dividing your lane from the lane you wish to enter as a fill in the blank line. A. Broken white. B. Double solid yellow. C. Solid yellow. D. Solid white. A. Broken white. White lines separate traffic lanes traveling in the same direction. You may cross broken white lines to pass, as long as the passing lane is clear. When driving in fog, you should use your high beam headlights. A. True. B. False. B. False. You should use your low beam headlights when driving in fog. High beam headlights may cause the light to reflect off of the fog and into your eyes. A motorist making a left turn at an intersection should yield the right-of-way to a bicyclist entering the intersection from the opposite direction. A. True. B. False. A. True. Always yield to pedestrians and oncoming traffic when making a left turn. You may complete the turn when the way is clear.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
When approaching an intersection that is controlled by a flashing red traffic signal, you must A. Come to a complete stop. Yield to oncoming traffic or pedestrians, then proceed. B. Reduce your speed and proceed with caution. C. Come to a complete stop and remain stopped as long as the light is red. A. Come to a complete stop. Yield to oncoming traffic or pedestrians, then proceed. Treat a flashing red traffic signal the same as you would treat a stop sign. Come to a complete stop. Yield to oncoming traffic or pedestrians, and proceed when the way is clear. Which of the following factors affect an individual's absorption of alcohol? A. Weight. B. Height. C. Intelligence. A. Weight. Factors affecting a person's absorption of alcohol include the person's weight, their biological sex, the amount of food in their digestive tract, and the number of alcoholic beverages they have consumed. The only thing to do to remove alcohol from a person's system is to wait. The best way to avoid a dangerous situation while driving is to A. Know what is happening around your vehicle. B. Turn off the radio. C. Always keep your eyes focused ahead of your car. A. Know what is happening around your vehicle. Always be aware of what is happening around your vehicle. Constantly observing your surroundings to the front, sides, and rear of your vehicle will help you see problems that may require you to change speed or roadway position. This road sign means A. Do not pass. B. Do not enter. C. No turn on red. D. Keep right. D. Keep right. This sign indicates that a divided highway begins ahead. The road will split into two one-way roadways separated by a median or divider. You must keep to the right. This road sign means A. Intersection ahead. B. Merging traffic. C. Steep hill ahead. C. Steep hill ahead. Warning signs provide notice to road users of a situation that might not be readily apparent and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign warns drivers of an upcoming steep hill. Drivers should adjust their speed accordingly to avoid collisions and brake damage. A red and white triangular sign at an intersection means A. Slow down if an emergency vehicle is approaching. B. Look both ways as you cross the intersection. C. Always come to a full stop at the intersection. D. Slow down and be prepared to stop if necessary. D. Slow down and be prepared to stop if necessary. A triangular red and white yield sign means that you must decrease speed as you approach an intersection and yield the right of way to any vehicles or pedestrians in the intersection. You must be prepared to stop if conditions require it. You must yield to children playing in the streets. A. True. B. False. A. True. You are responsible for driving with extreme caution where children are present. Slow down near schools and playgrounds and in residential areas. When sharing the road with cyclists, you should A. Regard the bicycles as vehicles on the road. B. Be extra careful when driving near the cyclists. C. Leave ample room when turning after passing a cyclist. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Bicycles on the roadway are considered vehicles with the same rights and responsibilities as motor vehicles. You must be careful when driving near cyclists and should maintain a safe operating distance between the bicycles and your vehicle. Allow ample room when turning after you pass a cyclist so the cyclist is not cut off when you slow for the turn. On a road which has no sidewalks, a pedestrian should walk on the A. Side of the road which has the lightest traffic. B. Same side of the road on which traffic is moving. C. Side of the road facing oncoming traffic. D. Side of the road which has the heaviest traffic. C. Side of the road facing oncoming traffic. Pedestrians should walk on the side of the road facing the traffic in the lane nearest them. You should follow which of the following tips when being passed by another driver? A. Be on guard so that you can protect yourself from any unsafe actions performed by the other driver. B. Maintain your speed and position when being passed. C. If the passing car wants to return to your lane, allow them space. D. All of the above. When approaching a flashing red traffic light, drivers should A. Drive through the intersection if there is no crossing traffic. B. Continue driving, as they have the right of way. C. Stop if a police officer is nearby. D. Treat the light like a stop sign. D. Treat the light like a stop sign. Flashing red lights are used at dangerous intersections. Treat them like stop signs. This sign means A. Bicycle crossing. B. Stop. C. Fines double in a work zone. D. Stop ahead. A. Bicycle crossing. Warning signs prepare drivers for upcoming road conditions and hazards and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign alerts drivers to potential bicycle cross traffic. A person's ability to drive can be impaired by A. Alcohol, B. Any medication, C. A. Lack of sleep, D. All of the above. D. All of the above. The ability to drive safely is dependent on the driver being in good physical condition. Driving can be impaired by alcohol, legal and illegal drugs, and being drowsy. You are involved in an accident and another person is injured. You should A. Move the injured away from the scene immediately. B. Always leave the injured where they are. C. Not move the injured unnecessarily. Keep the injured warm and administer first aid. D. Stay away from the injured. C. Not move the injured unnecessarily. Keep the injured warm and administer first aid. After an accident, do not move the injured unnecessarily. Unskilled handling can make serious injuries out of minor ones. Keep the injured warm until skilled help arrives. If there is severe bleeding, attempt to stop the flow of blood with direct pressure. Roads freeze quickly when they are A. Flat, B. Curvy, C. In the sun, D. Shaded. D. Shaded. In cold or wet weather, you should take special care on sections of road that are shaded by trees or buildings. These areas freeze more quickly than the rest of the road and are the last parts of the road to dry. To see objects in their blind spot when changing lanes, drivers should check A. Only the left outside mirror, B. Over their left or right shoulder, C. Only the inside rearview mirror, B. Over their left or right shoulder. Your vehicle's blind spots are the areas that you cannot see in your mirrors. Look over the appropriate shoulder to check your blind spot when changing lanes. You should drive on the shoulder to pass a car. A. If the vehicle ahead of you is turning left. B. Under no circumstances. C. If the shoulder is wide enough. B. Under no circumstances. Passing on the right is permissible only if it is possible to do so without driving off the roadway. Never pass another vehicle on the shoulder because the other driver will not expect you to be there and may pull off the road. Large trucks are likely to lose speed when A. Driving up long or steep hills, B. Driving in long, gradual curves, C. Driving down long, gradual hills. A. Driving up long or steep hills. Because large trucks require more time to accelerate than smaller vehicles, trucks can lose speed driving up long or steep hills. Be cautious when driving behind a large truck and be sure to give the vehicle additional space, especially when driving on an incline. Distracted drivers are at a greater risk of a crash when they are using which of the following? A. CD player, B. Radio, C. Cell phone, D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Using a cell phone, including a hands-free phone, or any kind of audio device, including a radio or CD player, can be a dangerous distraction and contributes to the risk of a crash. You do not have to stop for a school bus that is stopped with its red lights flashing if it is on a private road. A. True. B. False. B. False. When a school bus is stopped with its red lights flashing and stop arm out, other drivers are required to stop. This law applies to drivers traveling on both public and private roads. Alcohol causes A. Loss of concentration. B. Poor coordination. C. Slower judgment. D. All of the above. Which statement is true? A. The speed at which you are traveling affects almost everything else that can happen to you in a car. B. Heavy traffic situations do not affect speed. C. It is always permissible to drive the posted speed limit. A. The speed at which you are traveling affects almost everything else that can happen to you in a car. The speed at which you are traveling affects almost everything else that can happen to you in a car. You must always comply with posted speed limits. Heavy traffic conditions and poor weather conditions require a slower speed. When making a right turn on a green light, you must A. Maintain your normal driving speed. B. Stop and look for nearby police cars. C. Yield to pedestrians. D. Increase your normal driving speed. When dealing with pedestrians, a driver must A. Make sure the pedestrian is aware of their vehicle. B. Always yield the right of way, even if the pedestrian is in the wrong. C. Yield the right of way only when the pedestrian is legally entitled to it. D. Slow down and sound their horn near a crosswalk. B. Always yield the right of way, even if the pedestrian is in the wrong. You must do everything you can to prevent striking a pedestrian or another vehicle, regardless of the circumstances. It is the driver's basic responsibility to be alert to pedestrians and to yield the right of way to all pedestrians, even if the pedestrian is crossing the street where they should not be. You are driving along a street and hear a siren. You cannot immediately see the emergency vehicle. You should A. Keep driving until you see the vehicle. B. Pull to the curb and look to see if it is on your street. C. Slow down. Don't stop until you see it. D. Speed up and turn at the next intersection. B. Pull to the curb and look to see if it is on your street. If you hear a siren or an air horn close by but do not know exactly where the emergency vehicle is, safely pull over to the right side of the road and stop until you are sure it is not headed toward you. You want to turn left at an intersection. The light is green but oncoming traffic is heavy. You should A. Use the next intersection. B. Wait at the crosswalk for traffic to clear. C. Wait in the center of the intersection for traffic to clear. D. Take the right of way since you have a green light. C. Wait in the center of the intersection for traffic to clear. When making a left turn where there is approaching traffic, you must wait for the approaching traffic to go through before you turn. You may enter the intersection to prepare for your left turn if the light is green and no other vehicle ahead of you plans to make a left turn.